I was duly impressed, primarily just due to, especially on the front end of the customer service and support that they provide and helping agents. Often agents, we all need tech help, right? And when you're trying to put together a CRM that's effective, you need to pull everyone you've ever had in any email or anything else. So they actually do that for you. They'll go out and he'll get into this more, but they really help get everything put together in a nice package so you can maximize the newsletter's effectiveness. I was watching Mike Ferry, just happened to be yesterday, and he made a comment that we all know to be true. He said that you should stay in front of every one of your clients, current and past, at least every 45 days at minimum. There's an NAR stat that's always stuck with me from years ago that 88% of people looking to purchase a new home or sell their home would call that realtor that they had met a while back if they could just remember their name or get their phone number. So that's the importance of staying in front of them. Even if it's, just like I said, every 45 days, once, a couple times a quarter, holidays, however you like to do it. So I think what HomeActions does is very neat in the way it's a white glove service, is how I term it. So really happy to have Robert here with us today, and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, Jeremy, thank you very much. And Tommy, thank you for helping me get this set up as well. So basically, we've been around for about 18 years. As a matter of fact, one of our president, Albert Clark, put together the first digital newsletter for the real estate industry through NAR 18 years ago. So we have a lot of experience, and we feel we have a sense and a feel of what you guys need and the limited time you have to do some of these things on your own. So what we're going to talk about today is exactly what Jeremy presented, and that is staying in front of your clients, prospects, and referral sources on a regular basis. So we all know it's a numbers game, but with more consistent relationships getting nurtured, the numbers even get better. Some of the statistics that I've read over the years from PR companies and so forth is they say you should have at least 26 touches a year with your clients, prospects, and referral sources in order to institutionalize your name. So that's a number that we've kind of stuck with. In our newsletter, as I'll show you in a few minutes, it goes out every 2 weeks. That's 26 times a year. So basically, the idea today is to have a reason to be able to contact your clients, your prospects, your referrals, and your past clients, because we know how important referrals are. It's the most effective means of getting new business. Okay, so there's a lot of things you need in order to have a good program going. A lot of people have one or two, they don't have the whole program. So what we provide, we'll talk to you about a database, creating a pipeline for you, nurturing that pipeline, because you have a pipeline and you don't build on it, it doesn't go anywhere. You have to have intelligence. You have to know what your people are reading, what their pain points are, what their interest areas are. And then we say protection. And what that means is that once you get your contacts uploaded into our system, no other HomeActions client can send a newsletter to your people. So I know, as good as our newsletter is, if I got 2 or 3 of them, I would just undelete or I unsubscribe from all of them. So your list is exclusive to you. So the first thing we do is we'll create your database for you. Now, as it says here, 9 out of 10 agents do not have a clean database. The first thing we do is we'll say, hey, call this phone number anytime between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. The person that answers the phone is going to do a screen share with you. You'll be sitting in front of your computer and you can have your favorite beverage in your right hand because you're not going to do any of the work. So you'll say, okay, I have some contacts at AOL. They'll go into AOL, they'll pull them off. Intuit, Yahoo, Hotmail, they'll go through all of your different email accounts and create an Excel spreadsheet on your desktop. So at the end of the 20-minute call, 15, 20-minute call, you're left with all your contacts in one place. And that's your bread and butter. So that's the first thing we do. when you send it off to us after you're satisfied with this, and you don't have to worry about duplications because our system doesn't accept duplications. But then we take it another step. We have a company that sends out an electronic signal to every one of your email addresses, and they get a signal back just like a submarine and a sonar. If they don't get a signal back, they try it for 5 days. Then they pick up the phone and say, hey, Jeremy, these 5 names, email addresses are not good. Check it out and get back to us and we'll clean it up. So putting together your database is the first thing. Now, hopefully we're getting back to normal. At least that's what I'm reading about. I mean, I live here in Florida. Things are starting to open up, starting to see people on the streets. There is no question a big pent-up demand. I'm from the Washington area, although I live in Florida, so I have a lot of friends that still work on Capitol Hill. They are talking about first-time home buyers tax credit. That could be a huge boom for all of us. So what we have to do is be ready for what's going to be coming. Now, what you need is an excuse to call your client. Got to have a reason to call them. So we call them conversation starters. So let me show you what Heather Berry is doing. So I'm going to kind of run down her newsletter. First thing we do, well, let me mention a couple things. We give you unlimited numbers of contacts. So if we initially upload, and I'm throwing out a number, 500, 700 names, 1,000 names, and then you add on another 1,000 or 2,000 names while you're with us, we're good to go. We want you to build your database. That's your bread and butter. So first thing we do, we get your database put together. Next thing we do, and it only takes a day, we'll create any kind of masthead for you. Some of our clients like us to replicate the masthead from their website to create a consistency, but we can do whatever you want. You can see what we've done for Heather. So we have our masthead, contact information, and hopefully you can see where my cursor is. We put links back to your website right in the masthead of your newsletter, so that every time the newsletter goes out, again, which is every 2 weeks, it's as if you're sending out a mini version of your website, and you'll have a lot more eyes on these links and more people coming to visit your website. We'll get into social networking in a couple minutes. So content is king. We put in 5 fresh articles every 2 weeks. Our editors basically want to position the realtor as the homeowner's advocate. So we'll put in articles. I have a list coming up of how they can operate their home more efficiently if there's any scams out there. One of our very popular articles have been home decorating tips. So we'll put in 5 articles. And then we have a feature down at the bottom. It's called Local Events Calendar. And hopefully with things coming back, there'll be things to go to. So regardless of where the recipient of your newsletter is, they put in their zip code and it brings up all the local social, athletic, and charitable and things that are going on in their area for the next 2 weeks. Now, in addition to the articles that we put in, and by the way, you can log on to your account and see 2 months in advance the articles that we put in. You can add up to 6 additional articles. So what are the kind of articles you'd want to put in? First of all, you want to put in your listings. So what do you do to put in a listing? You pick up the phone and call customer service and say, hey, here's the MLS link. I want you to put a picture of the property in and the listing. So they'll put a picture of the property in and about 5 sentences from the listing. When I get your newsletter and I click on full article, it'll bring up the entire listing. It could be a virtual tour, pictures, maps. And we know how sensitive, time sensitive listings are. So as soon as somebody clicks on your listing, we send you an email alert. It'll say email alert. It'll give the title of your listing. Robert Slavitt is viewing your listing on the 22nd of May at such and such a time. You can elect to have those alerts sent to you as they occur, or at the end of each day, we'll send you a list of all the people that looked at your listing. Okay, open houses, same thing. Send us a link, we'll put in a picture. Now, local, hyper-local information. What's sold down the street? Everybody wants to know that. So basically what we do is we go into your RPR report and we create a just sold report. So let's see what we did with Heather. Heather gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 zip codes. When you click on the zip code, it brings up what's sold recently. a nice clean screen. Now, it's one thing for you to provide this type of info and intelligence for your readers, but it's equally as important for you to know who's looking. So if somebody's looking at what's sold and you see constantly week after week, they're looking at what's sold, chances are they're considering another transaction. And you'll know about them before they start looking around and speaking to other realtors. So putting in your RPR reports is something that's really, we think it's very, very important. Other things we do. A lot of people want to know whether it's curiosity or they're getting ready to sell, refinance. They want to know what their home is worth. So basically, they click on it, they fill out the form, you get an email alert that somebody has contacted you. They want to know what their home is worth. And obviously, if you can hand carry that information to them, by phone, talking with them, you might end up with a potential client. Lots of stuff you can do with the newsletter. We went into Zillow and we pulled off some of the testimonials about Heather. I tell people, hey, listen, when you sell a home, somebody sends you an email or it could be written on the back of a napkin. Hey, Tommy, thank you so much. You sold our home for our asking price in record time. Send it to us. We'll put it in with a picture of the property. It speaks volumes about you, about the type of merchandise you can get your hands on and how you handle your clients. In addition to the newsletter, we have another feature called On Target. And hopefully you received the last 2 Tuesdays, Lokation sent out an On Target. It was something about the CV, about working from your home and so forth. So this is for sending out communiques in between the time the 2 newsletters go out. And of course, it would have your masthead on there and your contact information. So why would you want to send out a communique in between the time? Well, let's say your newsletter goes out on the 7th and the 21st of the month. And the 7th has come and gone, and the 9th, you get a killer listing. Well, you say, well, I don't want to have to wait until the 21st to promote it. So you pick up the phone, you call customer service, say, hey, I want you to put together an On Target. Here's the MLS link, put a picture of the property in and the description. When are you going to have it ready for me? They'll say, well, it's 8 o'clock at night. We'll have it ready tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, you log on to your account, you look at it, looks good to me. You call them up, blast it out. So you can send out communiques in between the time the 2 newsletters go out. So our people use it for listings, open houses. We have some clients that are involved in selling off of model homes. They'll go out there with their cell phone, take a 10, 15-second video of the progress of the property, put it in an On Target, and send it out to the person. And by the way, with the On Target, we'll take your database, obviously, from the newsletter and move it over. Here you can segment it. You can create a list of current clients, past clients, and you can send out different communiques to different groups of people. If you're dealing in different cities, you can do the same thing as well. So it's really a valuable tool. We also have, it's for real, about 2,000 really nice artistic images for every holiday you can imagine. Whole bunch of our clients sent out Memorial Day greetings this weekend. So we have them for all the holidays. We also deal with CPA firms, law firms. They use it for all kinds of things, reminding people about quarterly payments due. So it can be used just about for everything. For those of us that are in Florida, we get the threat of a hurricane just about every year. I remember last year, things were getting ugly outside. So most of our people sent out an On Target saying, hey, the weather's getting dicey. We're closing the office. We'll let you know as soon as it's reopened, and they blasted it out. So there's all kinds of things that you can use the On Target for. And again, you get metrics on it, you know who's opening it up and so forth. On this particular communique that we sent out, we know that 55% of the people in Colorado, you guys that got it, opened it up. So we know, and every day we're seeing more and more being opened up. So again, we talk about being an advocate, sending out information. Our editors write information on taxes, improvements, repairs, and so forth. We have, and I hope I'm not repeating myself, we have something like 7,000 realtors across the country using our platform. and we send out 3 million newsletters every 2 weeks. And we constantly check the metrics. We know what's hot, what's not. I'll give you an example. We sent out an article. It was in our newsletter 3 months ago. It was an interesting article. What do you do if you inherit a home with a reverse mortgage? Well, geez, I see it advertised on television all the time. Not an easy answer to it. Put together a real good article on it. We had 327,000 people read that article. So we're constantly putting in good educational articles. This is not a hard-hitting marketing newsletter. People get information, they understand what's going on, and with dealing in your areas, hyper-local information, and it's educational, and our opening rates are good. Mentioned to you, email exclusivity. Once we have your contacts uploaded, no other HomeActions person can send an email to you. Now, let's get into social networking. We have in our content library well over 1,200 articles, first-time buyers, first-time sellers, explaining different mortgages and so forth. Every one of our articles has a link next to it that says share. All you have to do to post it on your social network is click share. Your icons pop up. It could be Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You click Facebook, that quickly, it's posted on your Facebook with your masthead, your contact information, and the article as it was written. You can use as many of our articles as often as you want. Literally less than 5 seconds to post it on your social network. Okay, you will get all kinds of reports when you log on to your account. My suggestion is newsletter goes out, wait about 3 days. It takes that long for everybody who's going to read it to read it. Then pull up some of the reports. There's only a couple reports that I look at because there's just too many for me. It's like the kids say, TMI, too much information, but it's there if you want it. So the one report I look at is a total amount delivered. So here we delivered 1,336, 13 bounce. Whoops, why did they bounce? Because somebody changed from Comcast to AOL, but at least you'll know their name. Then you have an opening report. So what's an opening report? Opening report is when your newsletter comes into my Outlook inbox and I click it open and it just brings up a sample. It brings up a bird's eye view like you were looking at Heather's before. A click opening is when somebody actually clicks the article and they go to full article, and that's how we capture their email address. And we provide that to you, okay? So this is the kind of thing that you would receive. A title of every one of the articles, 26 views. When you click who, it brings up their names. And then you can drill down. You can say, hey, you know, this Slavic guy's been reading a lot of articles. Let me click on to see what he's been reading. You click on my name and it brings up everything I've read over the last several months. And you can get a sense and a feel whether I'm seriously looking for another transaction. I'm looking at what's sold down the street. Is this a good time to sell? Kind of gives you a sense and a feel of, you know, why am I looking at these articles? And then maybe you pick up the phone and call me. It's certainly better that you call somebody who you know is looking than shooting in the dark, which we have to do anyway. Okay, this is a great feature we have, Neighborhood 360. So how does it work? We put an article in the paper as to how it works, but the practical application is, so I'm out driving on a Sunday and I see a gorgeous home and I don't know whether the home's for sale or not. I pull out my cell phone, I bring up the newsletter, Neighborhood 360, and I put in the address, 1250 Torrey Circle. Before we send any information to them, we ask a few questions. Is this your home you're thinking of selling? Is this a friend of the family, et cetera, et cetera? Are you thinking of refinancing? As soon as they click something, we'll send them the basic information, but we also send you an email alert instantly. It'll say email alert. Let me see if it's on the next page here. No, let me back up. Email alert, Neighborhood 360, Robert Slavitt is viewing 1250 Torrey Court at such and such a time. And of course, you want to get in touch with me, find out what my objectives are, and that could turn into a bona fide lead for you, as it has for many, many, many of our subscribers. So we're on the tail end now, because it's pretty simple. We do all the heavy lifting. If you just want to send out the newsletter and not put anything in it, it's fire and forget. We do have some clients do it, but I would certainly encourage you to let us put in your RPR reports. Obviously, to put in your listings is critical, and other hyper-local information. But we think we have a feel and a sense as to what to send, when to send it, how to send it. It's the most economical thing, because you can send to a couple thousand people and your cost doesn't go up a nickel. It does, in fact, create conversation starters, because, by the way, at the end of each one of our articles, we have questions. Would you like more information on this article? Would you like me to contact you? They can put in their comments. When they put in their comments and they click send, you get an email, article alert, survey question. Robert Slavitt wants you to contact you on such and such. So we know that it's a two-way conversation. I think that's about it. Okay, we'll get into the pricing. Might as well get it over with. So our annual plan, and we did lower the price, a special price to we have the honor of dealing with Lokation. So it's $640 a year, which is about $120 less than anyone else. And it would be 4 quarterly payments, $160 at signing, and then 3 quarterly payments. If you don't want to bite off that much, we could go on a monthly plan without a contract obligation. That's $65 a month, and there is a setup fee. That's really the story, and I'm sticking to it. It's really worked out well. Now's the time to get back into a regular dialogue with your people, get in touch with the people you've dealt with over the years, ask for referrals. It's a good, easy way, and we do all the heavy lifting, and that's about it. So Jeremy, I'm done here. Any questions? You have my contact information. Be delighted to speak to you one-on-one, whatever works for you all.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself if you have a mic, or you can type them into the chat box. I'm sure Robert would be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much, Robert. Really appreciate you doing this for us.
It's my pleasure.
So yeah, like I said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to speak up. Ask them now while we got Robert on the phone. Otherwise, you can always reach out to him or us, and we'll point you in the right direction.
Julie and Robert, of course, yes, thank you. Greatly appreciated. And apologies, I was otherwise engaged for a few seconds there. Did you talk about pricing yet?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, the pricing for Lokation, which is $120 less than we sell to anyone else.
Well, okay, after this call, I'd like to get together with you and find out the best way to get our agents to sign up, or how they should do that. Do you have an answer for that? We're going to put it under our online office, under our resources tab, so where people could go and find it, read a little bit more about it. But the question is, do we want to link back to your website, or would you like us to build out a page, et cetera?
Basically, I have an order form. I could send it off to you, whatever you guys think is best.
Okay, shoot me that order form, and I'll probably build a page out using this.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, will do. Well, this has been my pleasure. I really appreciate your time. I know it's a long weekend. I hope you have places to go. I hope you're able to get out and go. You live in gorgeous territories. Some of the best times I had was skiing in Colorado, and one day hope to get back there. And I wish you all well, and still stay safe. We got a little bit ahead of us before we could let our guard down. And I wish you all the best success. And it looks like things are getting back to normal. And again, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Tommy. And I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, thank you, Robert, and everyone have a great, glorious Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.